Alright, I'm going to show you how to set up a DIY CO2 reactor / generator. You're going to need some CO2 proof hosing. It's slightly different than normal airline hosing. It's a lot thicker, and I think it's a different type of plastic. This CO2 valve like generator thing, I'll leave a link to in the description for all these products that I bought here. 2-liter bottles, you need 2 of them, and then a drop checker, you might already have one, and then a diffuser. Well, it's hard to do one-handed. And I also have another check valve in here. Alright, we're going to start with the diffuser here. Here's the diffuser. Before we start, you should go put this in your tank and let it soak so this part gets wet, so it helps more evenly diffuse the bubbles. And then you'll need this over like U-shape thing. You gotta be very careful with these because they're fragile. I already broke one of them. Let's see. They're pretty easy to break when you're test fitting them. And then obviously I already talked about the check valve. Put those back in there. Alright, and then here's your drop checker. It's in this little baggie to keep it safe. This helps monitor your CO2 levels in your tank to determine if they're too high or too low or just right. Right here is the index, and then the drops are in here as well. Alright, here's our generator it's more like the valve. Some gaskets, some weights, and some check valves, and a splitter in there I think as well. Suction cups. Here's the valve part. Then we've got a what would you call it? Dial. Our solenoid. And then our drop counter here. Alright, we're going to start assembling it here. You're going to start with your solenoid and your valve part, combiner reactor thing. Just start by getting it finger tight. And then they provide you with this little wrench. You can just use that to tighten this down. Nice and tight. Don't want any leaking. Alright. Now it's time for the most complicated part of this project, which is the hosing within the bottles. You got your weights here, and then your little splitter here, your check valves, and your CO2 hosing. This has to be done in a specific way. You have to measure to the bottom of your bottle here on one pipe, so this one's got to go all the way to the bottom. There we go. And then you're going to cut it right there. Alright, now you're going to take this length of hose and you're going to slide your little ball doodad weight thing on this one. And then that's all you have to do for one side here. Now the next one is a little more complicated. Okay, measure to the bottom of the bottle and cut this one. Right, now halfway down the length of your hosing, you're gonna cut it. And then at the top one, gonna slide this over it, and then on the bottom one. Now you're gonna cut a small little length of the hose and slip it over this one. Right, and then you're gonna face this check valve downwards under this one. Alright, now I'm gonna cut a length right here below this to insert this check valve. And make sure this one's facing downwards as well. Now you're going to remeasure here. See, now we're too far up in the top here. So we're going to cut off about an inch up there. And then you can see we got a lot of excess up here. And then the final part is just to put the little ball dot on the end. Alright, you can see that the complicated side with the check valves goes on the right and the easy side goes on the left. Alright, now you're going to need baking soda and citric acid, and then your 2 bottles here. One is going to be your A bottle, which is the citric acid, and one is going to be your B bottle, which is going to be baking soda mixture. Alright, for mix A, you're going to put 600 milliliters of water and then 200 grams of citric acid. Now you shake this up and make sure it dissolves completely into here. Right now for the baking soda one, you're going to have 200 milliliters of water to 200 grams of baking soda. Right now your 2 mixtures are ready and you can set it up. Alright, now you connect your 2 bottles together and drop these in here in their respective spots. And now I'm going to put the bubble counter on and turn on the solenoid. Before we start priming, we gotta make sure our valve on the side is all the way shut. And then now we just have to squeeze this. Alright, I primed this by just squeezing this side. Alright, and to make sure everything works easily, don't open the valve on the side until it reaches at least the green zone. It will just make everything easier, because if it's not in the green zone, it's just going to start losing pressure too quickly. And then it's going to be hard to get an accurate bubble count, and also it's just not going to work very well. The suction in the bottles isn't going to work. Alright. Now, we're going to start setting up the hosing into the tank. You can see I've already got my diffuser in here. I've placed it underneath the outflow, so then it blows the bubbles around, so then they're in the water column longer. Now we got to install the U shape and then connect it to the diffuser. Alright, I've put the diffuser in there. Now the U shape goes over the top over here, and then I don't know if you can see it, way on the back side there's a suction cup to keep the hose straight so the diffuser isn't out of whack. Alright, now you're just gonna start by turning the valve on the side here, turning it open, and then getting your bubble count adjusted. 1 bubble approximately per second is what you want there. And then you'll see up here your diffuser will start making those bubbles, and then find a good spot where the bubbles will kind of be kept under the water for the longest time. So I put it in front of my filter output so it blows the bubbles across here, and you can kind of see them all in here just slowly rising up, diffusing into the water column. Now we're going to install our drop checker. You add the specified amount of CO2 liquid in there, and then without tilting it you put it straight down and then squish it onto the glass. You should set your timer for the system to turn on 2 hours before your lights turn on, and then an hour before your lights turn off. And that should give enough time for the CO2 to build up in the water before the lights turn on, so the plants can start using it right away. And then also enough time for it to be completely consumed before the lights turn off and the plants stop using it. And that will do it for this video. So if this video was helpful or you enjoyed it, please like, leave a comment, maybe share the video, and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel where I have more videos like this.